Hello everyone. This is my first movement I have learned in calisthenics. It's the pullover. The pullover not only will have a lot serious core straight from this exercise, but pulling is straight as well and the learning fundamental exercise along the way like hanging, elicit, to the bar, inversion row pull-ups, upside down, deadlift, and negative master ups, which is the further developed in the way that your arsenal of skills. These are exercises that will also branch out into different skill sets, as they also require progressions from other skills like front lever, L-sit, pull-ups, master ups, and hopefully you can now visualize this as all a giant skill tree and why a selection a specific exercise from the beginning of your calisthenics journey can actually give you a strategical advantage. Now the pullover is need to some requirements: 8 clean consecutive pull-ups, 45 seconds hang on the bar, 10 consecutive straight the bar dips, and 10 consecutive hanging legs raised with the perfect form. And these are fundamental to calisthenics, which should have already mastery. The first progression to start learning the pullover is gonna be L-sit, kicks, and if you were able to complete the requirements, this is gonna be really easy. Hanging L-sit kicks are great to start off because they are very beginner friendly, but they'll also have you unlock your hanging L-sit hold very quickly while developing the required grip and core straight for all the progression to come. Now, as you're doing your hanging L-sit kicks, you may start doing them pretty quickly, but you know how it goes. Eventually, you'll be able to do it slower and then control it until you'll be able to kick out, even hold that L-sit for a second or two, and then bring your legs back in. And if you can hold in the hanging L-sit for the last rep, even better. If you find yourself swinging, you need to grip the bar even tighter in the possible lead back a little bit. Also bring your knees very high and tighter to your chest. Then you bring them in the point your toes as you push your legs straight out and you locked out L-sit position. And make sure that your feet are constantly tied together and pointing your toes the entire duration, even as you're extending your legs out to your L-sit. Once you can do about 8 to 10 very comfortably, you are ready to move on. Alright, now you're stronger enough for progression number 2. We are going to be going for high hanging knee raises. Bring them all the way up. Curl it back as far as you can. Point your toes from here. Lean back as high as you can. Lean back. Hanging high knees raises shouldn't be that difficult, especially if you go use the hanging L-sit kicks. You definitely have to core and grip straight required to be able to do this move. Remember, make sure that your feet are tied together and you are constantly pointing your toes. You want to do this every single progression. Is you also going to help you enhance your core even more, that reduce swinging and try to go to the completely range of motion. Bring your knees as high as you can and tie to your chest as you lean back. If you can lean back enough to get into a horizontal position, even better. But as you start to come back down, make sure you control this movement as well. You keep a solid tight grip in your hands to reduce momentum and swim. Once you can do about 8 to 10 comfortably with perfect form, you're ready to move on. Alright, progression number 3, the high knee rest pull up. Now that we're adding a pull up into these high knee raises, this is gonna get us closer to the end result. Doing a pullover in the pulling are your body completely over the bar. But the best way to achieve a big goal is with small steps. So far now, we are just gonna to go for a pull-up at the end of the high knee raise, doing a pull-up from this dog position. It's a little easier than doing with our leg extended, which we'll eventually need to do when finally doing a pullover. But first, we need to master this with our knees tucked. When you try it for the first time, you can go for partial high knee raise pull up. Just pull up to as comfortable as you can get. You will be able to come back down, and eventually you will be able to pull up in the high your knees. And once that you go comfortable, you can open your knees and that big more. And the next time you need to go for a high knee raise pull up, you need one obstruct the pull up bar, and you will be able to do a pull past your knees and to give it a deeper range of motion, pulling all the way up to your navel. And it's actually a required to be able to pull up. This is high to completely a pullover, so really focus on the pulling as high as you can, getting up to your belly bottom once you can to do 4 to 6 with the perfect 4. You are ready for moving on. Alright, progression number 4. This one should be easy for you. Toes to the bar. Keep your legs straight, point your toes in the feet tight together, control. Lean back. Once you get past the legs raise position, lean back. After training all the previous progression, you definitely have to the core straight to be able to perform a couple toes to the bars. Just make sure that your feet are constantly tied together with rope and constantly pointing your toes with the sole in the tight grip on the bar. You can start off this exercise going up as you were to go into a leg raise. Once your legs go as you high as your flexibility allows them, you want to lean back like you did in the hanging high knee raises until your ankles and your toes can touch the bar. You will also notice as you lean back, you are going to activate more your scapulas, your legs, and your core. When you want to get very comfortable with this position, with your toes touching the bar, you are going to be reaching this position and you're going to do the same movement path as your toes to the bar when you're finally doing an actually pullover. So basically, with these progressions, we are breaking down the different components in the movement path as the pullover into the smaller bit-sized pieces we can master separately. In the ones we have mastered it, then all we put them all together on the pullover will be effortless. Once you can do 10% toes to the bar comfortably in a row, ready to move on. Progression number 5, the high leg raise pull-up. We are basically doing the half of the pullover already. The movement path that we are using to complete this high leg raise pull-up is the same exactly movement path that we are going to use at the beginning of an actually pullover. That's why this progression is so important for you to master. If you're comfortable with the previous progression, then you would have to already have that technique in the floor to the performance this exercise. It's a great version of the high knee raise pull up, except this time with your legs straight, so you are gonna to get into. It's like as if you were doing 8 toes to the bar. Once your toes reach the bar, you are gonna lean back and try to raise your hips while maintaining contact with your legs in the bar. And then you are gonna to pull up as high as you can. If you are doing this for the first time, just start off with the partial, just pulling up as high as you are comfortable with, enough to be able to performance the exercise to come back down. You eventually get stronger and you'll be able to pull up higher. Eventually you high enough to reach your navel, which is exactly as you high you are going to need to pull when you're doing the pullover to be able to go all the way over the bar. What you can do at the least 5 reps comfortably and consequently, and at the least 1 or 2 of those reps you can reach your navel. You are ready to move on. Progression number 6. When you have side down the deadlift, make sure you have already gotten used to those tools to the bars. This is where you're going to start. Push through your hips and then come back down. Keep your legs connected to the bar. Push through the hips hold. This progression is going to build lower back in the core enough to push your body into an inverted position, which is very important not only for the pullover but in other skills as well, like the front lever in the back lever. It's very similar to doing a deadlift, except of course you are going from in the hanging position. So just imagine yourself doing a deadlift inverting from the top of the toes to the bar. You are going to lean back, retracted your scapulars, and you push your hips through as you maintain contact with your legs and the body on the pull-up bar. Push all the way. Just if you were to push your hips forward and through doing a deadlift until you reach a completely inverted hanging position. Make sure as you are pushing through again, your legs are completely locking out, your arms are locked out, and your toes are pointing with your feet tied together. Once your hips has pushed all the way through and they actually came to the straight line inverted, you can then come back down and maintain contact constantly with your legs on the pull-up bar and descended nice, and they control it all the way down until your ankles reach the pull-up bar again. Once you get very used to this, you can go ahead and rep that out once. You can do 7 to 10 upside down deadlift constantly and comfortably in the row. You are ready to move on to the final progression. The last progression, we training all the previous progressions to make it this far inverted row pull-ups. If you could even do a couple of these, you are ready for the pullover. Start from this position. Pull up all the way your belly button. These inverted row pull-ups, you are gonna close to the gap from being able to bring our legs and up and the pull up to the actually pulling over the bar. So in this time we are gonna maintain the top of the toes to the bar position. Except your legs don't have to touch the bar this time, but your body does need to be able flat and horizontal, which would have acquired a straight and the technique to do so from the previous progressions. In the front this position, you are gonna to pull your body straight up and try to reach your navel in the beginning. Of course, you can always go for partials and eventually you will be able to get stronger and the pull higher. Try to maintain this horizontal position and try not to let your body droop down. A quick tip for your inverted pull-ups. This is a pretty difficult, so only doing 4 to 5 is completely okay as long as you can do at least 1 up to your waistline. This actually requires to be able to do the pullover. You can have to be able to pull all the way up to your belly button to be able to get the majority of your lower half over the bar in the turning right side up. If you don't pull high enough, you will never able to make that transition and you will never able to get over the bar. You need to majority of your body weight to go over the bar to be able to turn right side up. For example, if you are on the top of the bar and you lean too much far over, your body is gonna automatically flip over. Well, it's the same thing if you put too much body weight of your lower body into one side, your body gonna automatically roll right side up. If you can do at the least 4 to 6 with the perfect form, at least 1 or 2 of those reps, you can reach your level. You definitely have the strength to be able to do the pullover, and I think it's actually time to go for it. You have come a long way from the first progression doing the illicit kicks. Finally, you should have the strength and the technique to be able to do some pullovers. Make sure to use all the techniques that you learned from the previous progressions. Toes to the bar, hips up as you pull. Make sure your feet are on the other side. Come all the way up, right back down, all over again. Feet up, pull your hips like on the upside down deadlift. Roll like inverted pull up. Make sure you go all the way up to your navel. That's why it's so important to pull hip enough. Now, as we perform in the pullover for the first time, just imagine you are doing all the progressions that we learned step by step. Imagine you are starting off doing in the hip left raise pull up mix with an upside down deadlift, to make sure that you bring your hips in the high enough so that if you pull up, you'll be able to reach your navel line. You also want to envision to invert the roll pull-ups. You're going to need to be able to roll as you're reaching the top as you're doing through these movements. It's also important that you maintain your core tight and your legs super tight together. Lock out with your toes pointed. You don't want to have your legs all over the place, and you want to have your pulling nice and even no pulling with more than one side than other. As your legs start to go up into the air, you want to then so to slightly to start learning into the position side of the pull-up bar so that you can still pull up, but your body weight will gradually start to transition to another side of the bar, and by the time you will pulling up as high as you can. The majority of your body weight and your body is now on the opposite side of the bar, and your body weight comes down, which brings your right side up, just to be sure to maintain a tight grip onto the bar as you turn right side up. Do it to the gravity and then finish it off by pressing into to the top of the straight bar deep position. And there's have your first pullover. Then you can descend nice and control it all the way back down to a starting position. That's your first pullover. You want to do the same thing every time to do multiple reps. Another great tip, you try to control the descension back to a starting position as much as you can. This actually is required to the master your muscle up as well. It can be referred to as a negative muscle up, and this exercise can single-handedly develop insane upper body strength. So if you start emphasizing on this now, you are going to be way ahead of the game, and the rest of the calisthenics skills are you going to come so much easier, especially because you learn these 3 skills first in the beginning of your calisthenics journey. Thanks so much for watching. Congrats on the making to the end. If you enjoyed this video and you learned something, definitely smash the like button and subscribe with the bell notification on so that you never miss out on a video.